Ladies and gentlemen, this is not Carlton versus Collingwood. This is the Scott Pendlebury game. The 400 game milestone man etches himself in history far greater than where he already was. It's just another feather in his cap and another milestone that or record that will never be reached, at least in the context of the Collingwood Football Club for now. So let's celebrate the man. He's done so much for the club. He's kept us relevant at times where things looked bleak. We have the heir apparent in Nick Dacos, who will do the same for us in times of, I suppose, what's the word? I guess, in scarcity, because that is looking ominous. A scarcity type of period, a scarce period for Collingwood. I hope it isn't the case, but it hasn't looked great, but that's okay. This is Pendles' game. This is his moment. And let's hope that energy maintains throughout the period of the night. Not just the first 5 minutes, not just when he kicks his first goal of the night, not when he gets his first clearance, not when he evades 3 players in the midst of the contest, not when he bounces the ball on another pigeon. The whole game, it needs to be that way. A true stalwart of the club, and he has an inkling for the Carlton Football Club. He loves playing that lockdown role on Patrick Cripps, so we'll get to that in a moment. What does this game remind me of? So we're late in the season. Carlton are top four fancies, and Collingwood are holding on for dear life to stay relevant outside of the cusp of the top 8. 2022, round 23, 24, the last game of the season, the tables are flipped. Okay, sure, Carlton were actually in the 8, so it's a little bit different, but enough similarities to draw the comparisons. Collingwood it was win or lose. Win and you're top 4, lose, you play with no double chance in the finals. And for Carlton, it was win and you're in the 8, lose and you're out of the 8, which is sort of similar. I think if Carlton lose, they're putting themselves in a precarious position for the remainder of the season. And Collingwood, if we lose, we're out of finals contention. Full stop. We're a game out and percentage. Excuse the voice crack there. We're a game out plus percentage, which technically makes us 2 games out of the top 8. So it's a must win. And it's going to be a Saturday night game. Massive crowd, of course. Plenty to celebrate. There's always an edge, an energy, a luminous vibe going into these games, and you feel it whether you're at the game, at home, at a pub. You feel it because it's Collingwood versus Carlton, and I love that. Besides the rivalry, besides the hatred, the supposed hatred on both sides of the fence, it's just a game to look forward to. Like if you're an AFL lover, doesn't matter who you support, you can't not look forward to this fruitful game, and it's really exciting. It's that time of the year. It needs wins need to go your way for both sides. This is it. What are the injuries looking like? Well, Beau McCreary hopefully comes in after that calf niggle that he's been dealing with. And same goes for Kruger with that concussion. The erratic man just doesn't know how to keep himself out of the trenches, Nathan Kruger. But that's some good pressure that comes into the side. And we'll talk about what roles they could be playing in this game, because there's plenty to be desired about those players coming in this type of matchup. The Goey is likely to miss, unfortunately, with that groin. It's almost lights out for him. He's struggling to get to the start line. He's doing barely anything at training. He's severely hampered running straight lines, so it is what it is. Last time we met Carlton was that game early in the year where Carlton had the first half for the most part on their terms. Mackay and Curnow were getting what they wanted. They were getting easy goals at the back. We were being moved against too easily. Excuse me, let me just put this on mute. Sorry. And it was a tale of 2 halves, which Carlton fans and would resonate with that story of Carlton playing one half and then losing themselves in the following half. It's happened too often for them. But we end up winning that game by less than a goal or a goal and a bit, thanks to Nick Dacos scoring that goal out of that stoppage in our forward 50 on Sam Walsh. That was nice. It was a big win. and really helped us further set the tone for the redemption arc that we had set ourselves upon after going 0-3 to start the year. And speaking of 0-3, I mean, Brisbane were 0-4 and now they're top 4. So that doesn't get enough raps. Full credit to Brisbane, full credit. It's a monumental effort on Brisbane's behalf, and they're going to go deep once again. But that's none of our business. We're here to talk Collingwood and Carlton. Yeah, so Collingwood get that win. So we've got the wood over them recently. They got us last year. They pipped us last year. And then obviously 2022 was 2022. Probably the most heartbreaking game Carlton fans have had to endure in a long time. And probably the most ecstatic game I've witnessed, to the point where I was basically crying, which I never do when it comes to footy. I never cry. But just the emotions, the ups and downs that year, it was such a big moment for the club. What do we want to see in this game? Collingwood did really well in that stoppage battle against Richmond. And yes, Richmond have their injury woes, but we have to take it at face value for what it is. I think we outscored them by 30-odd points in the stoppage realm, which is a massive differential. And yeah, defended them well from stoppages while scoring brutally against them. While on the other hand, Carlton got completely shut up shop against Port Adelaide in that second half and could not score from stoppage. They still got some success from turnover, moved the ball at times well in the first half, but their stoppage game was completely quelled, and Port just won the contested battles, the one-on-one battles that needed to be won to keep the game on their terms, and they did that for the whole second half. Which is incredible when you consider Carlton how much of a side they are when it comes to their contested game, their clearance game, winning those hard ball gets. And that's something they hang their hat on, which they probably want to rediscover. And it happens to be against Collingwood in a massive game. So that's something to be mindful of going into this. It's going to be a finals-like game, so it's going to be contested. Both teams are also top 4 for tackles accumulated. And I like the sound of a game being played on the inside, just because of our lack of speed in the midfield and just generally across the ground. I think we match up very well against Carlton when it comes to that. But if Carlton get on the outside and can keep the ball and move the ball, we're going to be in some strife. We struggled to defend Richmond's ball movement at times, and they're not a good uncontested possession team, and they're not a good ball-using team. So you look at players like Boyd, I don't know if he's playing. McGovern, is he playing? Sard, Newman, if I mentioned him already. These players are deadly with the ball in transition. And then obviously you got the two-prong midfield, or the two-prong forward line in Mackay and Kerno, but then you also got Walsh and Patrick Cripps. What will be interesting is the small forward battle. You got Bobby Hill and Matt Owies, who has been at least a top 5 small forward in the league, scoring a bunch of goals, applying great pressure, and coming from the basketball background that was as a Category B rookie. He's come in leaps and bounds and has that, I guess, a bit of grit / cunt about him. Like, he's one of those guys you, I guess, love to have on your team, but hate to play him because he loves the celebration and it riles up oppositions. But so it is. It's funny, I remember he kicked the goal against Collingwood in 2022 and tried to biff with Pendles, which was just ironic because they both have basketball backgrounds. But Hilly played really good against the Tigers, and he kept it simple, had a couple goal assists, impacted the scoreboard, had a bunch of scoring involvements. So that'll be an interesting matchup to see who has a more impactful game on Saturday night. And if we've ever needed a Norm Smith performance this year from Mr. Norm Smith himself, it's this game. It's this game for sure. Pendles and Cripps, that matchup usually finds its way into these games all the time. You have other options like Ned Long, maybe Bo McCreary. There goes my voice again. Wait till Saturday. It's going to be even worse. I might lose my voice again and do a review like I did for the Essendon game. But that's always an enticing matchup. And Pendles kept Cripps to sub-20 disposals in the first game, the reverse fixture of this season. So why don't why try to fix what's not broken when it comes to a matchup standpoint? Nick Dacos on Walsh, Pendles on Cripps, and then Crisp and Co to match up with the likes of Hewitts, Kennedys, Cherrers. I'm not sure if one of them are playing more forward in recent times, but those are usually the makeup of Carlton's midfield. So I think we match up well. I think that's something we can take a liking to going into the game. And then, yeah, just I've noticed that training Collingwood are doing more full ground drills, trying to work on their uncontested play, moving the ball, not just being predictable, trying to abuse plays through the middle and kicking it long, being able to slow down and get a bunch of handball receives, which Collingwood actually got a bunch of in the last game against Richmond to keep the ball rolling. So just adding different types of methods to our game plan has been a success. And Josh Dacos coming off the half-back flank has been a godsend. We've been begging for it. McRae finally caves in and tries it out and worked a treat. He had 7 score involvements off 30 disposals and looked at total ease. He's used to being in and amongst the clamour of the field. So for him to be able to sort of just compose himself off the half-back flank and deliver and distribute as needed is going to be pivotal and integral in this game, and I think Josh Dacos has found his best position. It helps with Jack Bytel playing the game that he did on the wing, 25 disposals, and just playing really well. It was his most disposals accumulated in his career, 4 more than his best, and I liked what he was doing in the VFL after he got dropped from his first, I guess, stint in the first side, the first team. So Mr. Bytel has an opportunity to establish himself and sort of vindicate himself after being a prized draft pick going to St Kilda. We've given him a chance. We've seen something in him, and he's doing well. Albeit small sample size, I think he has potential to be a part of the team moving forward. And he's a big-bodied winger. I think he's like 6'2", so he's going to have some defensive value as well. The big problem, as always, which always would give teams nightmares going into the game, is ensuring that Curnow and Mackay don't get off their leads. One of them is bound to. It is what it is. Curnow, I just find him... I was talking to Terry from Blue Abroad today, and he asked me, what do I think about the calling Curnow a free kick merchant? And I said, you know what, mate, like, to be fair, Curnow's body positioning and his forward craft affords himself these free kicks through the craft that he has. He puts himself in the best position to make players panic. He's made Darcy Moore shit himself many times before. Frampton as well. When you put yourself in a good front position, use your body to your advantage and I guess manipulate the position, you're gonna I guess invite free kicks. So is he a free kick merchant or is he just a really good forward craft player? And he's certainly the latter. So Darcy Moore will get a piece of him. Billy Frampton won't be playing, I don't think. I don't think he gets called back in, but that's where we call in Nathan Kruger to the back line. It's time. He is fast, agile for his size. He's bullish. He's hungry. He's tenacious. He's everything you want in, I guess, a second string key size defender at 6'5". Get him on. Get him on Curnow. Throw him to the Wolves and see what he's about. He's a good forward, but I think he's got potential to be an even better key size defender, having been drafted to Geelong as that initially. Obviously, the injuries and the concussions, he's had his fair share of adversities. But if he's fit and he passes protocol, then get him into the side and welcome him back to the biggest challenge of his career, Curnow. And if the challenges don't scare you, then maybe you're not putting yourself in these positions to grow. So this is a potential for personal growth and something for us to look forward to in the future if he can fit that role as that defender who can help Darcy Moore. I mean, he shares a lot of similarities with Murphy. He doesn't care where he puts his body. And while it's a detriment to his health, this is footy at the end of the day. You're going to put yourself in difficult positions for the betterment of the team, and it is what it is. He's that guy. He is Nathan Murphy's replacement, in my opinion. He is him. So please, Fly, give him a chance. I think you did well with Josh Dacos. Maybe trust me on this one. Leave it to the coaches, though. Always leave it to the coaches. In the ruck stocks, there's no Tom De Koning. He's out for the rest of the year, or at least for the season, leading into the post-season. So Cameron and Cox are going to have their way, I think, against Pittonet if he's playing. There'll be an opportunity to overwork him, overwhelm him. Cox had a good return game, was a presence in the air, had 6 clearances of his own, and just had that American arrogance that we love, and allows Darcy Cameron to roll forward. He's got that forward craft. He's got strings to his bow that we're not able to fully utilise. And I said in the Pie performers yesterday about Cox, I said I was wrong about Kruger. Has Kruger essentially retired Cox? And while I'll concede I was wrong, I do want to say Kruger does have better qualities than Cox in other domains when it comes to what he offers as a player in the team. But what he doesn't have in Kruger and what we need from Cox is the ruck dueling and his ruck craft, his ability to, I guess, launch scoring plays from his hit out work. He's done that very well this year, and he's becoming a better ruckman week by week, season by season, and just clearly provides this intangible value to the team. So no, Cox hasn't been retired by Kruger. They can all fit in the same team. Obviously, with Myercheck out, it probably makes the decision easier to play McStay, Kruger, Cox, and and Cameron in the same side. And if Kruger plays in the back line, then that's probably not even, an issue to worry about, because they all have positions that need to be filled in this side. So it's all about looking forward to what is in our hands, and that's a game that needs to be won in Pendles 400th. There's still personnel tinkering that we can still look forward to in the Krugers and the Josh Dacoses. Nick Dacos Collingwood need to win a couple more games. On a personal note, need to win a couple more games to really put Nick Dacos into Brownlow contention. I think only Cripps and Gary Ablett have won the Brownlow outside of the top 8. So it's a big ask. But he does lead the AFL coaches' votes, Nick Dacos, so it does suggest he's not far off. And of course, with Isaac Heaney suspended, he's ineligible for the Brownlow. So it just leaves, I guess, Nick Dacos, Bontempelli, Cripps to an extent, I think, Sarong. I know I'm missing someone else from a certain club that I can't remember, but we'll leave that for now because it's kind of irrelevant. Maybe Treloar. Treloar's playing well, and gee, hasn't he bounced back since he's moved to the Doggies, so fair play to him. It's a massive game. What do you guys think? How are you looking at this game? Glass half full or glass half empty? I think every week there's something to look forward to, and that's why, despite results not going our way or the way we want it, there's always positives to take from these games, even if it becomes a dead rubber. Like if the next few games to end the season become a dead rubber, there's things to look forward to, and we'll see even more what we need to work on moving forward. But so if McCreary comes in and Kruger comes in, does that mean Sullivan comes out along with maybe Harvey Harrison, who only had 4 disposals? So Harvey probably just needs some games back in the VFL level. We've got a lot out of him this year. He's had some really big games to suggest that he's here for the long term. And yeah, just have a stint in the VFL, get some confidence back, find the footy, kick some goals like he did against Freo and the Bulldogs, and I think Melbourne as well. So he has a knack to find that goal scoring ability as well. So let's regather ourselves and reconvene in the post-game show on Saturday for the Pies versus the Blues. Go Pies.